In this multimodal presentation, I will share my experience in learning and teaching English. I started to learn English when I was 10 years old in elementary school. My English teacher first taught us alphabet, words, and short dialogue. Most of the learning is conducted by rote learning, imitating, and doing drills. We were required to record our voice onto a tape for review. The teacher then listened and pointed out the mistakes. At that time, the teaching method is mainly influenced by behaviorism. According to it, language learning is not a mental phenomenon, but behavior. Language development is the process of habit formation, language acquired through reinforcement. When I was in secondary school, the teacher adopted a more interactive teaching method. We were engaged in pair work and group work. In the role-play show, we even put on costumes and makeup. Everyone in my class enjoyed and took an active part. It was at that time that I fell in love with the language. The teaching methods my teacher used were based on sociocultural theory. Vygotsky assumed that social interactions result in cognitive development, including language development. Speaking and writing mediate thinking. ZPD, Zone of Proximal Development. It means the difference between what an individual achieves by herself and what she might achieve when assisted. The ZPD occurs when the social interaction occurs between a student and a more knowledgeable individual in a particular subject matter. I benefited a lot from SCT. I learned a lot through interaction with teachers and peers. I can still recall that when our group members discussed how to celebrate Christmas, everyone was eager to contribute to the topic. Through participation, we receive input and exposure and produce comprehensible output. As a teacher, interaction is essential, and I always set aside time for group discussion and activities, which I believe is of great significance. Although at that time I was not aware that I based the method on the SACT. Students were in groups, looking up words in the dictionary, chatting with native speakers, and role-play. I observed that when they had discussion to fulfill the task, they used their existing knowledge to develop what they have not mastered independently when they collaborate within their ZPD. Another theory that is beneficial in my English teaching and learning is complexity theory. According to Freeman, language is a complex adaptive system which emerged bottom-up from interactions of multiple agents in speech communities. It seeks to explain complex, dynamic, adaptive, self-organizing, non-linear systems, which is valuable in language learning and teaching. For example, when I learned how to greet people in elementary school, we memorized the pattern "How are you?" and "Fine, thank you," and "You?" However, this inert knowledge cannot adapt to outside classroom context, which keeps changing. As a teacher, a language learning class should be student-centered rather than teacher-centered. In traditional Chinese language class, teacher's monologue dominates most of the classroom time. After learning the social approaches, I will adopt some strategies to help my students learn English. 1. Set up collaborative learning environment. I will engage my students in more collaborative group work, because learning happens through group interaction. CL provides both receptive and productive knowledge. In the CL environment, there are sufficient opportunities for interaction. 2. Adopt identity approach. It helps me integrate the individual language learner and the larger social world. With this approach, my students will have powerful literacy practice and increase their motivation, confidence, and feeling valued, supported, and appreciated. 3. Create hybrid learning environment. According to Fardig, hybrid learning combines face-to-face with computer-mediated instruction. As classroom time is not adequate for language exposure, the hybrid learning provides students with more opportunity to engage in the instruction. There is flexibility in terms of time and space. Thank you. That's all for my presentation.
Created using Powtoon.